Timoyex channel.
Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Timoyex channel. My name is Engineer Dr. Ifeoluwa Timothy Adeyemi. I'm the CEO of Timoyex International Technology Limited and the CEO of Timoyex International Business Venture. So I'm here today to share some review with you concerning the reason why we recommend battery capacity for your loads. Okay, let me come closer. So why is it that we recommend some certain battery, or we just say, okay, you're going to use 4 battery, 2 battery, all those kind of stuff? Why is it that we do that? Okay, so now is the reason why we do that. Now there are different types of battery. There are different types of batteries. We have number 1, the lithium-ion battery. Number 2, we have the tubular battery, also known as the wet cell battery. The third one, we have the AGM battery. We have the C-LED battery. The C-LED battery is in 2 phases. We have the AGM and we have the gel battery. Now the AGM and the gel battery, they are under the C-LED battery. Sometimes people call it trailer battery. People call it trailer battery. Now all these batteries I mentioned to you, they are suitable for inverter and solar installation. Even some are specifically made for the purpose, for inverter and solar installation purposes. So now let's quickly dive in the reason why we recommend certain numbers of battery or certain capacity for your load. So let's take for example, your total appliances is consuming about 1000 watts. Maybe you just have TV, fan, fridge and small blender in your kitchen, and everything amount to like 1000 watts in the house. So one thing we do is that we can recommend a 24 volt system for you, or we recommend a 48 volt system if you notice that you are going to have other appliances or other gadgets in future, such as your AC and the rest. But at that moment you are using 1000 watts system. Now this is what we do. We make sure that we ask you some question, like how many hours do you want the inverter system to work for you? So the number of hours now determines the amount of battery or the capacity of battery we will recommend for you. So most times engineers don't take note of this due to someone experience or something. They just recommend the same thing for you without asking you such question. So you should take note of that. Now coming down to that question, let's say you want it for like about 3 hours or 4 hours or 7 hours. So let's take for example, we want to recommend tubular batteries for you. Remember, one battery of these tubular batteries are 12 volt battery. 12 volt battery, 220 amps. Tubular battery comes in different amperage. We have the tubular battery of 180 amps, 200 amps, 220 amps, 230 amps and 240 amperage. They comes in different amperage, but the most common type of amperage in tubular batteries are 220 amps. Now let's take that one, the most common one, 220 amps, and your total appliances is what? Is 1000 watts as discussed. So now 220 amps multiplied by 24 volts, because we are going to use minimum of 2 battery. That's 12 times 12, making 24 volts on 220 amps. And the calculation goes like volt times amps is equal to watt. So 24 volt multiplied by 220 will give us roughly about 5280 watt hour. But because tubular battery does not discharge of its full capacity, unlike the lithium-ion battery that you can even discharge some 100%, some are 90% of their capacity. Now tubular battery discharge up to like 70% of its capacity. But to be on the safer side, we do use 50%. So for example, now your two batteries connected on 24 volts multiplied by 220 amps, giving you roughly about 5,280 watt hour. We will now divide that 5,280 watt hour into 2, which will give you roughly about 2,640 watt hour. 2,640 watt hour. Now if we calculate that now, and deduct your total wattage, your total appliance wattage from that leftover, that's the 2,640, it will give you like it will give you like 2.64 watt hour, which means that it can only back up for 2 hours, 2 or roughly 3 hours, on a full charge. That is, if you're using all the appliances at once, it can only back up 2 to 3 hours, on a stress. But if you reduce your appliance, you can still enjoy it up to like 4 hours. Depends on what you're using at that particular time. So if you want something that can back up for like 2 to 3 hours, then that is better. Just use 2 batteries, then you are good to go. And if you want more, that means you can increase that battery. You can add additional 2 batteries, making 4 batteries, and the total of those 4 batteries, the watt hour will be around 10,560 watts. Then if we divide it into 2, it will give us about 5,280. No, it will give us about, it will give us about 5,280. Yes, it will give us about 5,280 watt hour. With that battery bank, you can use your 1,000 watt appliances or load on that system for roughly 4 to 5 hours. And if you reduce the load to like 500, or you reduce appliances usage, just keep reducing it, and you only use your fan and bulbs maybe at night to sleep, you can use it all through the night, because it can take you up to like 10 hours, because you are not using all the whole 1,000 now. So that is the advantage of using more battery. So now your battery bank determine the longer the backup time, and your appliances determine the number of battery we recommend for you. So now let's take that to lithium-ion battery. So if we are to use 5 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery, lithium-ion battery discharge at sometimes 100%, sometimes it discharge at 90%, and it will still retain its efficiency. That's the difference between the tubular battery AGM compared to lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion battery can discharge up to 100%, some up to 90%, depending on the manufacturer specification. Now, if we are to calculate based on 100%, that means that 5 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery can back up for 5 hours. And if you are to deduct the 1,000 watt appliances that you're using, which means it can back up for 5 hours, right? And lithium-ion battery save space. That's the advantage. If you look at the video showing, or the picture showing at my side here, you will see how we design a 3.5 kVA lithium-ion battery, and it's a very, very simple something. And if you look over to this side, you will see exactly 3.5 kVA using tubular battery. So both setups are different. Now what I'm trying to tell you is that lithium-ion battery saves space. That's number 1. Number 2, lithium-ion battery also can discharge of its capacity 100%, some 90%, and it look more kind of unique in such a way that you can put everything on the wall. It saves a lot of space. So that is the advantage of lithium-ion battery over the tubular battery, because 4 of tubular battery will amount to the 5 kilowatt based on our calculation. 4 of tubular batteries amount to 5 kilowatt, just a single 5 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery. So that's another advantage for us to match up the tubular battery to the capacity of 5 kilowatt 4 units. The reason why we are doing that is because we take measurement of our tubular battery on 50% of its capacity. We don't do 60, we don't do 70, we don't do 80, because we want our customer to enjoy the best, to have a very long backup time. So we use 50% of tubular battery. So I think with this few points, you know that yes, that your appliance have a major role to play when it comes to the backup time of your battery. And we do this calculation to know how many batteries or the capacity of battery you will use. So see you in the next video.